At the sound of the tone, it will be just 5 minutes to showtime. There's still plenty of time to visit the refreshment stand. When you hear the tone, it will be just 3 minutes to showtime. Still time to visit the refreshment stand before the next feature starts. There's just 1 minute to showtime. After the next feature begins, the refreshment stand will continue to serve you. It will remain open, so there's still time to add to the fun of enjoying the movie. When the show is over, please remember to place the speaker back on its stand. If the speaker is accidentally broken, please let someone at the refreshment stand know about it. We appreciate your coming out to the drive-in tonight. When you leave, please drive carefully. We hope you'll come back again soon. And now, showtime.
Well, look who's here.
London!
He comes from beyond time.
Welcome to Androidvision.
When Satan goes wild.
Can't say enough about this film. It is a real fucking shitty goddamn film.
Too bad about the dead cheerleader in the second floor, John.
If it burns, yeah, you should see a doctor. Or if it stinks.
This is an asylum for the incurably insane.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's a great song.
I hope y'all know I don't know how to dance.
You don't know how to dance?
I don't know how to dance.
Why?
Dance.
Jeez. All right. Hey, welcome to Androidvision. Brought to you by theintestinalfortitude.com.
Wow, who turned on the smoke in here?
I blame you.
It's the weed. The guy's outside. I told him to blow it in here to keep the show going.
Hot boxer.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to Androidvision February edition. That's right. Mail of the Sam Girl's back.
Yep.
So we appreciate you coming back. And no, there's nothing under that dress, I found out.
I could demonstrate, but I'm not going to.
Somebody told me
G-rated.
nothing is under that dress. I mean, there's something under that dress, but not what I thought the male the Sam Girl would have. So, yeah, there you go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to us. You can always follow us here on the intestinalfortitude.com. That's where you find us every week. That's where we're coming from the old drive-in movie theater that my dad bought me because I'm a, what do they call it, trust fund baby?
Oh.
I don't know if you knew that about me.
I didn't know that about
Yeah, trust fund baby all the way. My dad, I said, hey dad, he said, what do you want for your 40th birthday? He said, I want a drive-in movie theater, daddy. So he bought me one. Just kidding.
Silver spoon up your ass.
More than up my ass. I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth.
Hopefully they cleaned it before they put it in your mouth.
They sure didn't. So, hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We are actually going to be having an awesome couple of films for you tonight. As always, we like to do the early 80s stuff, right? So we're going to be doing a nice little... we were going to do some Dash with 3, but looks like the film was damaged. So we're going to actually show you a nice little PSA. Now, I think our first show that we ever did, we did a PSA called Boys Beware. And basically it was about how boys should beware of pedophiles, you know, or gay men. They called it, so like, see, Billy, Johnny was sick in the mind, a sickness that you couldn't see, a sickness called homosexuality. It was like, oh my God, like we've come a long way. But we're going to actually flip the script tonight, and we're going to actually watch Girls Beware. Nice little 10-minute PSA. I hope it offends you all. So enjoy Girls Beware. You better beware too.
Be very aware.
Aware.
I like my cats.
Yes, there you go. All right, we'll talk to you guys in a minute.
Norma Neufner, policewoman, attached to the juvenile division. I'm on a call from a very worried mother whose daughter is missing. Her daughter's name is Judy Miller. Judy enjoyed babysitting, but there weren't enough jobs among the people she knew, so she decided to advertise at the supermarket for extra work. Late the following afternoon, the phone rang, and Judy was offered a job for that evening. The man told her he and his wife were going out to dinner and that their regular could he pick her up in 15 minutes. Judy's mother hadn't returned when it was time to go, so she left a message by the telephone. When her mother came home, she found Judy's note and called the number to let Judy know she was home in case she wanted anything. A woman answered, but she didn't know anything about Judy and told Mrs. Miller she must have the wrong number. By midnight, Mrs. Miller was really worried. She phoned the police and was transferred to juvenile. I took the necessary information and assured her we'd do everything we could. She'd have to try to be patient and wait. The waiting lasted almost a week. Then the report came in. Judy's body had been found on a lonely desert road. The most difficult part of my job is bringing bad news to parents. You can never find the right words to tell a mother her daughter has been murdered. Judy hadn't done anything wrong, she'd only been careless. Careless about whom she'd trusted. In itself, there'd been nothing wrong about advertising for a job, but it led her to trusting a person she knew nothing about. A mentally sick person who used her innocent ad as an introduction to his act of violence. Being safe is often no more than applying good judgment in everyday life. One night while Barbara was babysitting, the doorbell rang. She didn't open the door, but called and asked who it was. A stranger said his car had broken down and could he use the phone. Barbara was very polite, but she told him she was babysitting and expecting a call from her parents. However, she was sure the next-door neighbors were home and perhaps he could use their phones. The stranger thanked her and left. Now, Barbara had been polite and helpful, but she hadn't taken any chances. And when her father called, she was safe. Friday night was movie time for Sally and Elizabeth. Their parents alternated weeks taking them and picking them up. Friendships are easily made in a crowded theater, and when two older boys struck up a conversation and moved next to them, they were secretly pleased. At intermission, Sally found it flattering to have her friends see her in the company of older boys, and when they asked if they could take the girls home, she was all for it. She asked Elizabeth to call her folks and tell them that they could ride with a friend's parents. Elizabeth was tempted, but decided it wouldn't be right, and Sally was disappointed. When the show was over and they were leaving, the boys suggested that if Elizabeth couldn't go with them, why didn't Sally come? Sally thought it was a great idea and asked Elizabeth to tell her folks that her parents had picked her up. Elizabeth didn't like the idea, but Sally insisted. So, Elizabeth left alone. Not any of the boys she went with had a car, so it was fun riding with the older fellows. But when they drove right past her house, she became concerned. When they arrived at Lookout Peak, she was frightened. She tried to convince herself there was nothing to worry about, but when they parked off the road, she knew she had gotten herself into something she couldn't handle. At midnight, her parents became alarmed and called the Nelsons. Yes, Elizabeth was home. Hadn't they picked up Sally? No, over an hour ago. Well, of course she could talk to Elizabeth. Between guilty tears, Elizabeth told what had happened. Sally had been found, dazedly walking down the road from Lookout Peak. It was a night they'll long remember. In fact, Sally may never be able to forget it. Often seemingly innocent places can turn out to be just where wrong associations are made. Mary met Robert at just such a place. Robert frequented the malt shop in his spare time, which was considerable, as he'd finished high school and didn't work. Here he sought out the company of younger teenagers because he wasn't accepted by those of his own age group. Mary and her girlfriend could always be found at the malt shop after school. Mary had seen Robert before and thought he was very good looking, so she was naturally flattered when he singled her out and struck up a friendly conversation. He was fun to talk to, and they discussed everything from cars to movie stars. When he offered her a ride home, she was only too happy to accept. They drove around for a while and talked. Mary was a good listener, and Bob enjoyed nothing more than talking about himself. Mary knew her mother would be upset if she came home with an older boy, so Bob dropped her at the corner. After that, they saw a good deal of each other. At first, Bob was willing to see her at the malt shop, but as time went on, he became jealous of her friends and insisted on their spending more time alone. They began to go to secluded places, and their relationship became more intimate. Mary knew things were getting out of hand because Bob became more and more demanding, but not wishing to lose his friendship or the prestige she enjoyed from her friends for having an older boyfriend, she complied with his desire. Then Mary found she was in trouble and had to tell her parents. But now it was too late for advice, and Mary had to be taken out of school and placed under the guidance of juvenile authorities. Unfortunately, Mary's story is not an unusual one. Too many young girls are flattered by the attention of older boys and don't realize until too late that these boys, who cannot compete in their own age group, are often not well adjusted and will demand too much in a relationship with a younger girl. You see, it's often the things that are done without thinking that get young people into trouble. Trying to move too quickly into a world of grown-ups with a young person's faith often cause heartache and disaster.
Right? But we're going to stick with the hell, death, devil theme tonight. Because this is it's going to be a post-Easter show, which is good, right? Post-Easter, and All Saints Day, all that weird shit. What does Easter mean to you?
Oh well, to me, it's eggs and rabbits and fucking.
There you have it. That's it. Fertility. There's a reason why that is, because in the spring, things are reborn.
Yep.
Male dogs outside are going nuts because they're smelling the females. It's all about...
flowers.
Yeah, because nobody really wants to bone in the cold. I mean, it's okay. But not when it's too hot either.
Yeah, at least not okay. So, admittedly, I don't know. I guess these days more people bone in the cold than we like to admit. It's because they all gotta hibernate because it's cold. Well, we have heated indoors, so I think
if you have sex with the window open, the nice spring air coming in,
that's true.
Maybe listening to some evil music, you can conceive a special child. There you
Maybe.
have it. That's it. The second or third coming, or whatever the case may be. But something like that. So anyways, guys, yeah, that's right. We got City of the Living Dead and Hell Night on tap tonight, guys. So little Linda Blair action coming up the second half, which we'll talk more about. And City of the Living Dead, starring Christopher George. I think we talked about Christopher George on the show before. I don't know if you were here.
Possible. I'm not sure if I was here though.
He's a B movie aficionado. You know, he's a good guy. He did a Spread and Play Girl.
Did not know that.
Yeah, but they say he didn't quite measure up to what they thought he could be. Might have been a little cold in the room, if you know what I mean, when they were taking pictures. It happens, you know? Just didn't quite measure up. But anyways, guys, Christopher George, City of the Living Dead, directed by one of my favorite directors, Lucio Fulci, the godfather of gore himself, loves to kill beautiful women in his movies. Loves to. Who doesn't? Right. City of the Living Dead, 1980, a.k.a. The Gates of Hell. Now, I know this movie originally by The Gates of Hell because I remember my dad took my sister to see this movie when I was really little. And she's like, oh my God, some chick puked her guts up in it. And I was like, oh, what? That happened? So there you have it. It's going to be a phenomenal film. I hope you guys really enjoy it. This movie falls under what I would categorize as like nightmare. Like, how can I say this? You have certain horror genres. You got the possession genre. You got the ghost genre. You got the slasher genre. What other genres am I missing?
Zombies.
Found footage.
Zombies. Found footage. Animal attacks. Different things like that. This movie, to me, falls under what I would categorize as like a nightmare genre. Okay. Like, kind of like Phantasm. I don't know if you've ever seen Phantasm.
I think I might have.
Really good movie. But there's certain movies when you watch them, you're like, okay, is this really happening? Are these people having a nightmare? Is this a bad dream of somebody? So it's very dreamy and dreary, doesn't quite make much sense, but it does at the same time. So I would categorize this as like maybe somebody having a nightmare, which is, if anybody has any other suggestions, throw them up in the chat, like I said, Phantasm's one, City of the Living Dead's another, kind of nightmarish type of films that could just take place in a weird alternate reality. Have you ever had nightmares?
Yes, I have.
Nice.
Yeah.
I should tell you guys about my nightmare last night. It wasn't even a nightmare. It was badass.
What happened?
Okay, maybe you can analyze this. Do you analyze dreams?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? Okay, so I had a dream that this big, tall guy lived down the street, but he was older. Like, he, like lurchy type of guy, but like, more scroungy. And he was trying to like fuck with like my kids, right? And I was trying to beat his ass, but he was way too big for me. So the neighbor like shot him in the chest like 3 times. And I remember seeing like the 3 shots and the blood coming out. So what we did was we hog-tied this guy and we pulled him up into the tree and he was like a part of the tree so nobody could see him, his dead body. So we were hiding his dead body in the tree. And then my mom's like, I know what you did. And I was like, can I bury him on your property? Nobody will know. And she's like, I guess. So I took him down and I chopped him up into pieces and I buried him on her property and filled it up with cement so nobody could find the dead body. There you have it.
Well, I'd say that's indicative of at least your family's always got your back.
True. This is true. More than some people I know. Cameraman. So anyways. Yeah, you guys... this is kind of like a trilogy, City of the Living Dead, which also includes The Beyond and House by the Cemetery. So, this could be like a trilogy of some sorts. Very weird, like I said, nightmarish-esque films. One of Fulci's bests, one of my favorites, Watch out for the pig guts, City of the Living Dead.